Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Brief for this time on Global Television. I am Uyi Agumofwebe, reminding all of our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. Justice Binta Yanko of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has indefinitely adjourned the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. The decision made today follows Kanu's insistence that Yanko cannot preside over his case, citing her previous recusal. Recall that earlier in January, Kanu had filed a petition against Justice Yanko before the National Judicial Council (NJC), accusing her of judicial misconduct in handling his trial. Days later, the IPOB leader called for his case to be transferred to the Southeast if no judge at the Federal High Court in Abuja is willing to preside over it, apart from Justice Binta Yanko. Let's turn to Nigeria's northeast now, where Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Yahaya has condemned the killing of Reverend Bala Galadima, the presiding clergy of the Evangelical Church Winning All in Lobo community of Yamaltu Deba local government area. Reverend Galadima was murdered in the early hours of Sunday by suspected armed robbers at his residence in Lobo. In a press statement signed by Director General of Press Affairs Ismaila Misali, Yahaya strongly condemned the reprehensible act, describing it as an assault on the peace and security that Gombe State has long enjoyed. Let's turn to business for you now. Nigeria spends not less than 1.57 trillion naira on crude oil production monthly, translating to about 18 trillion naira annually, a development which industry operators described as too high. Data from sources, including the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC), indicate that the minimum any oil producer spends in extracting a barrel of crude oil in Nigeria is about $25. The country's average crude production stands at 1.4 million barrels per day, which means about $35 million is spent daily to produce crude oil in the country. As we stretch it beyond our shores now, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot says the European Union would retaliate by replicating any tariffs imposed on it by the United States, warning Washington against a trade war. He further stated that there is no hesitation when it comes to defending French interests, noting that Washington will move this week to impose 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum products. And now time for some excitement from the world of sports. The 11 home-based players invited for the Tigresses' next phase of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers will open Nigeria's camp in Abuja today, with their foreign counterparts scheduled to join them later. The Nigeria Basketball Federation has announced that the NBF released a preliminary 24-man roster for the third phase of the qualifiers set to take place in Tripoli, Libya from February 17 to 24. The NBBF stated that the preparation will be conducted in two phases, with the home-based players expected to report to camp at Bentley Hotel, Abuja today for the first phase, which will run until February 16. So briefer news for you. That's it all for this time on Global Television.